Websites and web-based applications that are designed well benefit everyone involved. However, many of us are not aware of the real impact a good design has on a user, because we often don't see it ourselves. Just as curb cuts, initially designed for those in wheelchairs, benefit everyone, for example, bicyclers and parents with strollers, websites designed to standards benefit your entire audience.
Curb cuts and websites. New York State Technology Standard on Accessibility. Standard 4.1. Navigation.
Let's begin by looking at Standard 4.1, which states that web pages will be designed to enable users to skip repetitive navigation links. For sighted users, scanning a page to find meaningful content is a relatively quick process. They can just ignore navigation links at the top and left margins and focus on main content. However, for someone who is using a screen reader or a keyboard only, scanning a page can become quite cumbersome if the web page isn't designed well.
Tab, local CRMS link.
Well, a well-designed web page provides ease of navigation. If links are labeled and if there's a skip navigation link at the very top of the page, then I can find what I'm looking for in a more quickly and more efficient manner.
Standard 4.4. Device independence.
The next standard we're going to look at requires that web pages will be designed to be device independent. For example, allow navigation with or without a mouse. Standard 13.2 states a label element will be used for all form controls that do not have implicit labels. For many of us, using a mouse has become so natural that we don't consider how unnatural it can be for users who can't use a mouse, or find that using one easily is difficult due to mobility impairments.
My primary piece of adaptive equipment is an oversized trackball. I've found a typical mouse setup to be pretty challenging for me, but the 4-button trackballs have really just basically leveled the playing field for me.
Web developers use a mouse to develop a page and often expect that the people who are going to visit their page will also use a mouse, but this isn't necessarily so. People with motion disorders often prefer the keyboard. But even if they don't, people who use a mouse and have trouble with fine motor skills can benefit from using standards such as the label tag, which will associate a caption with a radio button or checkbox and make the clickable area that much larger.
Standards 11.1 and 13.2. Multimedia.
Multimedia applications are also guided by standards. The standards require that state agencies will provide synchronized text captions for multimedia content containing speech or other audio necessary to understand the content. Additionally, state agencies will provide a video description for multimedia content that contains video or other visual information necessary for the understanding of the content. Audio and video can be an effective means of conveying a message. However, if your audience can't hear the audio or see the video, much of its impact is lost.
I can see the video, but all it's telling me is I'm missing part of the message, which I guess is contained in the narration. Captions would really make this worthwhile for me. Without captions, it's worthless.
Imagine if your video on your website sounded a lot like this. For a large portion of your audience, that's what your multimedia clip is going to sound like. We need to provide captions for them. But not just for the hearing impaired audience. Captions are very handy for everyone. They're in a noisy environment like a library where they might not be able to have speakers or hear what's coming across the computer.
Readable text on portable devices.
Let's finish our discussion by looking at the issues surrounding readable text and portable devices.
I depend on my computer for many things. I make travel plans, shop for gifts, find books, even read the newspaper. But my eyes aren't as good as they once were, and small type on a computer screen is nearly impossible for me to read. It's very frustrating if I can't resize the type and make it bigger. I don't go to those sites again.
A large share of our audience has trouble seeing small type on the screen, and that audience is getting larger every day. Witness me with the gray hair, what's left of it anyway. There's no reason with cascading style sheets not to allow the user to scale the type font the way they want. If you have a design statement that you want to make, you can introduce your page with the type font of the size that you want. But let the user make the font as big as they need to have a comfortable experience on your website.
I'm on the road about 80% of the time. So this is my connection to the office and to the rest of the world. And sometimes I think webmasters in general think that people still sit at desks with large color monitors and high-speed connections. Some of the web pages that are important to my work, they're just not sized right for this size screen, for this small device. They're full of graphics and other nonsense, and they take forever to load.
Here's the good news. If you program to standards, if you build your website using standard semantic markup, cascading style sheets, not only are you helping people who rely on assistive technology, but you're making your web content available to people with handheld and mobile devices such as cell phones, BlackBerries, and PDAs.
Oh, if I could talk to a web designer, I would tell him or her, please keep in mind that there are people whose eyesight is not as good as it used to be.
Design pages so that they're easy for me to use as a totally blind individual, with well-labeled links, a skip navigation link at the top of the page.
Without captioning, the video is useless to me.
It would be a voice-activated, effortless interaction between myself and the web.
I would probably ask them to build their pages with fewer graphics, with more text. I need to get right to the information.
As you've just seen, New York State technology standards on accessibility encourage good designs that make sense, benefits everyone, and are easy to implement. For more information on these standards, you can log on to the websites on your screen. Thanks for watching, and remember, good web design not only encourages technology use, but it's the right thing to do.